Hello, ladies. Good morning. Good Saturday. What are you fine ladies up to today on your Saturday? Well, um, what am I doing right now? I am coming on here with some good stuff to empower you in powerfully dealing with limiting beliefs. Then afterwards, I'm going to go feng shui some of the back of the house, which I'll talk a little bit more about that here shortly. And I didn't appear yesterday because I've been playing with my hair. So, I have always colored my hair auburn or red, not like a strawberry kind of red, but I love like a fiery red color. It's my favorite color for hair. And yesterday, as I was getting ready to start doing the fiery red, because that's the color I was going with, my son's girlfriend, Maisie, who's in the group, she's like, have you ever thought about doing ash blonde? I think you would be beautiful with ash blonde. And I noticed immediately some resistance about it. And then, I said, you know what? I'm going to try it. So I did it. And while I was playing with the, because I had to strip out all the red first and then, and then put in the color. So as it stripped out all the red and the brown, because my natural color is like a medium brown. And I've always liked dark colors. So anyway, so it was like this bright blonde with some orange in there, or like carrot orange, I would say. And I was thinking, I wonder if I should go blonde. Well, that might be down the road. I'll start with dark ash blonde, because I'm comfortable with taking it down to a lighter color. And when I'm feeling really spontaneous and ready to jump off the edge with blonde, we'll go blonde. So in the living room. Hi, honey. So I wanted to talk today about, let's identify some beliefs together. But first, before I get going, where is everybody? I hope that you're having wonderful weather and you're just out enjoying it. It takes something for me to just really get outside to start enjoying the weather when it's cold. And right now it's like chilly out. I noticed that when we do lives that are, I don't know if you can see the blonde. There it is. In the light, but you can kind of see that there's a little bit of, which I love this, like some extra colors in there. And, but the red is gone, you guys. It's all ash blonde. And I think the way the light is hitting it is making it look brown, because it is like I chose dark ash color, so I don't know. Anyways, I like it. I love it. I don't care what anybody else thinks about it, as long as I feel good, right? So, anyways, where is everybody today? I saw somebody jump on and leave. Well, let's see if I can get some people on here. We have a few people I could invite. And some people work on the weekends. Are you one of those people that work on weekends? There's a way to invite more gals from the group. Anyways, so let's get down to business here. All right. I am excited about sharing this with you because self-worth has been probably one of the biggest areas that I always come up against, and I'm always identifying some new way or behavior or something that gets in the way, you know, around self-worth or deserving, or am I important enough? Do I matter? Hi, Monica. Welcome, welcome. You're just in time. I'm getting ready to start this and looking to have some folks on here to ask questions, or I have questions to ask you guys. So I hope you'll play along with me, step outside of your comfort zone. I was inspired yesterday with this idea for the group, because if you guys have ideas that will help people be more engaged, or to have them open up and share more, definitely post that. I would love to know what your ideas are. Barda, good morning, Barda. It's cold. Anyway, so if you have ideas, I'd love to hear them. And and I invite you to invite your friends. The more of women that are coming together and empowering each other and lifting each other up into the higher vibrations, so that we can manifest and create the life that we love, the more the merrier. The energy it just helps when we're all in sync. No, I don't want it to be colder. I want to go to Hawaii or somewhere and warm up more. Anyways, you're right. It could be colder. All right, so let's get this party started, you guys. All right, so I'm just going to have the assumption that a lot of people know what limiting beliefs are. I do a lot of talk about it, and however, today I want to focus in on beliefs around creating wealth for yourself. I've been doing a lot of digging in this area because we all have money stories that we come from, that were programmed in our minds from the time that we're born to the age of 7, and then we attach ourselves to other people's beliefs, mom, dad, aunts, uncles. They can even be generational beliefs. And so when we're attached to those beliefs and don't even know it, because remember in my video the other day I shared with you the circle with the pie, what we know that we know, and the things that we know that we don't know, and then those things that we just don't know. And we're in the realm of the things that we just don't know. 85% of our limiting beliefs are hidden from our view. They're buried in the subconscious, and now it's about accessing those, because if you're not having results around the area of money, and I know this area so well, then it's because you have hidden beliefs. And I could tell someone who's not having those kinds of results in the area of creating wealth because it's not showing up in their environment. Okay, so let's start with belief about cause. And I'm not saying cause in like, a cause that's important to you. I'm talking about cause, because. So belief about cause, these are beliefs where we believe that there's a specific cause creating the belief. And when we have these limiting beliefs, usually we have the word because in them. So have you ever caught yourself saying stuff like, this is true because, and just some examples could be, I can't do any public speaking because I stutter, or maybe because I'm shy. I can't afford to buy that because I never have enough money. Or time. Like I'm always hearing that one. That's like the biggest two that I hear the most. Aren't those cute? Granny apple dolls. So just a couple that are very popular are, I can't buy that because I never have enough money or time. I can never start a business now because it takes too much time, or I don't know how to. So what I want you to do in the comments is share with me some of your becauses. What are some of those becauses that you have heard yourself say over and over again to people, especially when you're talking to people, because that's how we reinforce that in our own life, is by sharing and enrolling people into that belief. And then we justify it because, well, there you go, there's proof, my paycheck just wasn't big enough. Or there you go, I tried the law of attraction and it didn't work because I didn't manifest $1,000 like I wanted to. When you have those kinds of conversations with people, you're just reinforcing that language, that belief system. So who would like to share in the comments some of your becauses? One of my becauses, I couldn't lose weight because I didn't have the money to buy healthy foods, or supplements are too expensive. That one was something that was huge for me. You got to remove the because first off. So Barda, Monica, you guys, whoever's still with me, put in the comments one or two of your becauses. What is something right now that you can think of that you don't do because you use the word because? All right, moving on. So, one, and I'm sure people who are going to be listening to the replay maybe a little bit later will be posted in the comments as well. It doesn't matter when you put it in the comments, just start. The purpose is to start noticing and becoming aware of your way of thinking. It's because when you start becoming aware of your speaking and your thinking, then you're able to begin to reframe those patterns. But you can't start to reframe them, because this is the kind of work that I love digging into, and that's getting to where did these beliefs come from in the first place? Is it an old story that I'm just attached to? Is it something that I'm made up myself? So, and I'm actually going to get into a little bit further here about meaning making. So, when you can start just to notice, like, what are some of the phrases that you use, just using those examples that I gave. Many people have this idea about wealth and the ceiling that they can reach. You get that? They have an idea about wealth and the ceiling that they can reach. Some common beliefs around wealth are, I can never be wealthy because I don't know how to have so much money. I can't be wealthy because others will depend on me. I can't be wealthy because I don't deserve it. I can't be wealthy because it is hard work. I've heard that one a lot. So what are some of the becauses of why you can't be wealthy? Put that in the comments. We want to identify these things that we say out loud. So, and how you can identify it is by noticing when you say something and then because is in the sentence there. What is your belief about wealth and why? Barda says, I can't get a traditional mortgage because my credit score isn't high enough. I can't increase my credit. Ooh, And I mean, that's where you begin the process of looking for those hidden beliefs. Okay, so now that you're aware, Barta, that's awesome. Thank you for sharing. So belief about meaning as human beings, we don't know how to be. Did you get that? Belief about meaning as human beings. We don't know how to be. All we know how to do is what? Think, 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 think. And we make meaning about anything, and we find meaning about everything. We find meaning in things that happen or have happened in the past. So example, have you ever walked down a street and someone happens to look at you differently? You can't tell me you didn't make that mean something. Why did she look at me that way? Or have you ever gotten a text or an email? You get my point? Comment something you gave meaning to that left you feeling upset or disempowered or unloved or not good enough or unworthy or undeserving. Put in the comments something that you gave meaning to. I mean, it could be as extreme as you left a relationship. And that's when you start getting at a deeper level of how you are showing up as a way of being inside of a relationship. But for now, we're just going to stick to some small stuff. I work with my clients where we actually go dig into that stuff at a deeper level so that you can really get to the belief systems and patterns and stories and uncover those hidden things so that you're freed up. Because here's the thing, if you're wanting to manifest or create wealth in your life or create juicy relationship with your partner or your spouse, or have the kind of life that you desire or the dream that you're envisioning for yourself, you may get started on it, but then those beliefs start to kick in and you do things that are self-sabotaging or you start procrastinating. But what would it be like if you could actually move through that stuff? So these are the kinds of things that I'm talking about, that you can actually start to manifest and produce results in your life, all simply from working through your limiting beliefs. Yes, it's not easy work. And yes, it can be challenging at times. I'm not going to lie to you. But here's the thing, change is uncomfortable. And if you believe, if you believe that you have this desire, or you know that there's got to be more to life than the way it is now, then you're in the right place, because these are the kinds of things that we're going to be working on together. So anyways, so just checking the comments there. So I want you to comment something you gave meaning to that led to leaving you feeling upset or disempowered, unloved, not good enough, or unworthy. The meanings that we put on these types of beliefs will guide your behavior. You get that? The beliefs that you put on yourself will guide your behavior. Well, that goes back to when I was talking about first you have the thought, then you have the feelings about it or the emotions, and then you react towards something, and then you find out later that the text probably didn't even mean what you thought it meant, because you made it all kind of stuff. You made it mean all kinds of stuff. So then you're kicking yourself in the butt, or apologizing, or you start avoiding people or hanging on to resentments, and and icky, icky, icky stuff. It's an icky place to be. It's, you know, and if you really, really start to think about it, it's also a way to kill people off so that you can be right, so they're wrong. It's just not a good place to be, you know. So I'm looking at my notes here. Where are we at? Okay. All right, so we want to start to now look at what are some of the common beliefs that you have about wealth. And, you know, what I think I'll do is I'll make notes, or like give you like a transcription of my notes so that you can see the questions. Or if somebody feels up to it and they're inspired to do so, you're welcome to like take out the key points and maybe write it in there. So the first thing you want to do is look at some of your becauses. So number one, what are the becauses that you're phrasing, you know, that you're speaking into the world? An example of that is I can't do any public speaking because I stutter. Barta gave a really great example. I can't get a traditional mortgage because my credit score isn't high enough. I can't afford to buy that, or I can't afford a coach, or I can't afford that car, or I can't afford those supplements, or you know, the right kinds of foods because of what is your because. Really hone in on that. It's a very great, awesome indicator that will move you into the direction of becoming aware of your pattern of thought. Another thing, the second thing is, sorry, I'm looking at my notes here. So, and I have to go back and forth in my screens just to make sure that I stay on task, because I love to talk and I will talk randomly about anything and get off of subject. So, so I am practicing sticking to my topic here. And who knows what my topic is? Well, it is identifying your beliefs that stop blocking you from creating wealth for yourself. So, and then we talked about what were some of the common beliefs around wealth, just some of the common ones. These may not resonate with you, and if they do resonate with you, write it down. You know, get your journal out and really dig deep in this stuff, because I'm committed that you start creating some results for yourself. So, some of the common beliefs around wealth are: I can never be wealthy because I don't know how to have so much money. I can't be wealthy because others will depend on me. I can't be wealthy because I don't deserve it. I can't be wealthy because it is hard work. Put in the comments some of the beliefs that you have around wealth. So that's number 2, beliefs around wealth. I'm just writing these down for myself as well. I know, I'm a note taker. It is, if you actually just like write the key things, it reinforces the learning. I used to be like this huge note taker, and I realized my memory is really great, actually. Anyway, so what are some of those beliefs that you have about creating wealth? Now we're going to talk about belief about meaning. So this is the third thing. The meaning that you give wealth? What are some of the meanings that you make about wealth? So as I gave you some examples, you know, someone, maybe you're, oh, here, this one's always a good one. If you can't relate to, like if you're walking down the street and you see somebody and they have this specific face, and then we make it mean something about us. Okay, well, you can apply that in your relationship with your husband, in your relationship with your mom, your dad, with your children. We're meaning making machines. That's what my son Jordan says. Mom, we're meaning making machines. He really gets that. We make everything and anything mean something. And then we believe it. And then we will fight for that belief. So if you want some freedom in just some quick freedom, like let's say you're with your husband and you're in the car and he says something, and you notice what you think because first off, if you're thinking about something while he's talking and then maybe you only catch part of what he was saying, then you go into making it mean something about something. You can actually free yourself up in that conversation quickly by just noticing, oh, there's that thought again, or notice what you're making it mean. The more aware of the way you think, the more freeing up of yourself will be created. And it's powerful. And if you have a reaction to that way of, if you make it mean something, then it's triggered an old belief pattern. Okay? So, as human beings, this is our nature. You cannot hide from it. And if you want to not have an argument all the damn time with your spouse, then stop making it mean something every time he says something. And believe me, it takes practice. It takes a lot of practice. Now I'm like way better. I've even asked my husband to bring it to my attention. So, which is funny that I think about it, because then I was complaining that he was calling me on it. So we will defend it. We will fight for it so that we can make people wrong, so that we can be right because we're righteous, or whatever reason it is that you want to give it. But I promise you, if you give up being right and give up in that moment, noticing, being aware of it, giving that up is so freeing. And you show up differently in your relationship because now you're actually listening, presently listening to what it is that they're talking about in the first place. So do that. Test it out. I'm telling you. And then I'd love to hear about it on the group. All right. So as I said, we're just constantly thinking, especially I believe women are constantly thinking, analyzing, and like we got to know everything. I don't know about you as a woman, but I know me as a woman, I'm a very good analyzer. However, I know this, I own it. And because I do that, it gives me more power. All right. So don't forget to comment what it is that's coming up for you. And if any of this is not making sense to you, tell me. Tell me in the comments what is not making sense to you, okay? Because some people just don't get this stuff. Maybe they've never heard it before, because that's why they wouldn't get it, because they've just never heard it before. And a lot of people are just beginning to learn this kind of language, or seeing more of it maybe. So please be bold and fully self-expressed in the group, and share with me your thoughts, okay? Let's see if anybody's posted anything. No. Barda, if you're still with me, show me some love by punching that heart or like button. Let me know you're with me here. Or Monica, if you're still here. All right. let me get to where I stopped. All right, so the meanings that we put on these types of beliefs, like wealth, will guide your behavior, like I was saying earlier. Self-sabotage, procrastination, those types of things. And, you know, pay close attention to your behaviors, and because they're indicators of what you're thinking. That's so paying attention to those beliefs, identifying them, and being aware of those patterns of thinking will free you up, because then now you're aware. And where the power comes in is actually by digging deeper into the pattern or the belief itself. Okay, and I'm going to get a little bit more into that as I go here. So here's a great example for the meanings that we put on these types of beliefs that guide our behavior. I'm a woman. That means I'll never be able to lead. This can have several meanings. One, it's difficult to climb the ladder if you're a woman. That's a belief. Where do you think that belief come from? It may have come from a woman, female in our life. We've made it mean things about ourselves based on what society has said about women, and we have attachment to that. Okay, so that's just an example. Another one is women are poor, make poor leaders. You know, too much wealth makes people behave differently. Another one can be, this can have, I mean, really, if you think about it, this can have several meanings when you look at it. Being rich means you lose friends, or if you become wealthy, you'll change. Or being wealthy means that people will see me as one of the greedy rich people. Or my husband is the provider, and if I become wealthy, somehow that will demasculate him and take away his value, or whatever. There's even, what about, there's one right there for me. Oh, I've heard this one a lot. It's the woman's job to be at home. You know, those are like a lot of belief systems and things like that. But what do you make it mean about you personally as a woman? Because we all know that the fact is we do make kick-ass leaders in the world, right? Like, is it true that women don't make good leaders? Is it true that I don't make a great leader? No, it's not true. And especially I know that because I've experienced it in my life. But for some women, they actually won't step into that identity because they have some sort of belief or meaning that they've made it mean about themselves. So identifying those beliefs and digging away at those will really free you up, and in turn, well, and then you just start taking actions and start, creating results for yourself in alignment with what it is that you want to manifest and desire. All right, so, okay. So being wealthy, another meaning for it would be that you hear is that it's the root of all evil. What do you make that mean about you as an individual person? Another one could be it puts you in the spotlight. So just put in the comments some of the meaning that you would give around what it means to you being wealthy. Okay. Another good one is, here's a really great question to ask yourself. How would your mom or dad react to you being wealthy? What do you know? So here, when I was looking at that question for myself, I looked at, well, first off, she would probably be happy and supportive and excited about what I'm up to. And that's like the quick, easy answer. But when I talk about digging deeper, I'm talking about, okay, but how would she have reacted 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 20 years ago? How about when I was 16? Start to really look at those, because their reactions are different today than they were years ago. And if you want to dig deep and get to the bottom and to the source of what is blocking you from creating and manifesting wealth in your life, or great juicy relationship with your husband or spouse or partner, then you've got to get to the bottom of that stuff. One of the things that I was held back by was sharing the things that I discover for myself, like my stories, how I believe to hear them and what I've made them mean, and my own experience by sharing that held me back because I was afraid I would hurt my mom's feelings. Well, is that true? Maybe. Is that really true? No, because if there's something that I say that triggers her, that I'm not responsible for, or even with my husband, I'm not responsible for their past, their experiences, and what their triggers are. Because if I start focusing on what their triggers are, then I'll never get to work on my own. But if I triggered something in you, then I would invite you to consider that trigger is something from your past, and that it's an opportunity for you to dig a little deeper at that, poke at it some, and find out what comes up for you about that. Because one of the things that I do practice is being responsible in the language or what I speak when I'm talking with people. And what I know to be true may not be true for you, and what's true for you may not be true for me, right? And we just got to deal with our own shit. And some people just need help navigating that map so that they can get to the result that they're looking for. And you can do that through mentors, through coaches, group coaching, through programs, do-it-yourself programs. You could do it by me sharing stuff like this. So there's many ways that you can dig deeper. All right, moving on. So others change, it can be challenging. It can be very challenging. This can also have several layers of meaning associated with it. And what I mean by that is, so like I discovered for myself that when I was 17, some stuff had occurred in my life, and I made those things that were going on, because it was just piling on, that I felt as a woman. That's pretty huge. I made that mean that. Nobody told me I was a failure. Nobody said, Susan, you're a failure and you're going to be fucked up forever. Nobody told me none of that. I only told myself that out of a way of surviving, out of a way to make sense of things, out of anger, out of whatever was there for me, right? So I made it mean this stuff that had been piling up, because in my world, in my environment, in my reality, my thinking was justified by proving it to me. And before I knew it, I had said to myself, I'm a failure. So what do you think happened with that belief? Well, I started living life with showing me more proof that I'm a failure. Anything I did proved that I was a failure. I failed as a mom, I failed as a daughter, I failed as a sister, I failed as a wife. I failed at business. I failed at health, being healthy. It was like reeking all over the place, right? And so then when I discovered for myself that I made that up myself, like I'm the one who said that, and then is that true? No, hell no, that's not true. Holy crap, like, really start looking at what I've accomplished. It may not be the way I think it should be. The outcomes may not always be the way I want them to be. And most of the time I would kick and scream and I don't want to, just all that crap. However, when I began to heal that by digging deeper at that moment in the past, in my head, because the past is not in existence right now. Do you get that? So by working and through that stuff and healing it, and I'm talking not just let it go, because you're giving yourself an easy way out by saying, oh, I can just let that go. Now there's some things, yes, it's just to let it go. But when you're talking about when it's wreaking havoc on your life and life is not working and life just sucks balls, then you've got to deal with it. And there's, and I can show you how to do that, how to powerfully and radically transform those moments that had happened in the past. Anyways, so I did that. I did the work, and I know that it's not true. However, the several layers of meaning associated with the belief of I'm a failure begin to show up as I would take on things bigger in life. And I would play bigger games in life. And so it would show up in different ways. However, the beauty of it is sometimes they were big things, sometimes they were little things that I could easily just say, oh, there's that lie again. That's not true. I could just move right through it. But if I couldn't, when it's hard to work through something, when you're doing something and you either give up or you're really withdrawn and people might, maybe it shows up in the form of depression or in the form of anxiety. It can show up in many forms. And those are just layers that you're working through. And that's just all you see it as, is layers of an onion that you're peeling through, and you're going to peel through for the rest of your freaking life. All right. You get that? So this can have several layers, as I was saying, that can have meaning associated to one belief, okay? The work is never done. Belief about the more you grow, those things will show up and reveal themselves to you as they need to, okay? But if you want to get to them a lot quicker, you got to do the work. All right, so belief about possibility. Here, I'm going to share with you two categories. One, the outcome is possible for you if, are you ready? The possible is the outcome is possible for you if the outcome is possible. Then you'll just go for it and you'll get the desired outcome. Some questions. Sorry. I had a thing just pop up on my screen. Oh, I love distractions. Ugh. Well, I guess it could be worse. Right? Distractions. Anyway, so there's two categories. The outcome is possible for you. If the outcome's possible, then you'll just go for it and you'll get the desired outcome. And some questions you can ask yourself to get permission from your subconscious would be, do I have what it takes? Can I do it? the outcome is impossible for you, if the outcome is impossible, then you'll not even bother trying to go for it. So, and you might want to write that down, and I can put that, like I said earlier, I'll put that in the in the comments later. So the outcome is impossible for you. If the outcome is impossible, then you'll not even bother trying to go for it. In fact, you'll give up ahead of time. So for example, I'll never get a promotion. You see where I'm going with this? I'll never get a promotion. I've had very little success in meeting a partner. Cooking is not for me. I mess it up all the time. I've tried it all and nothing works. I've heard that one. Belief about identity. So these beliefs, they revolve around you. They revolve around your worthiness. Do I deserve this? These beliefs usually start with I am, or have words that make the statement just very personal. So how do you relate your worthiness to money? How are you proving your worth? Are you doing it positively or negatively? And worth is like a huge topic for women. It's a lot of women don't feel worthy. We find ways to validate how unworthy we are just by asking, and this was huge for me too, like I would always seek for validation from my husband. And when I really got clear that that was something that I was doing with him, and then I was like, what the hell is that about? Like, I don't need validation. My validation came to me when I was born. When I was born, just by the simple fact that I exist, I am worthy, I am deserving. And I believe that about you as well, okay? So if you don't believe that you're worthy to the core, then you're going to get more unworthiness. And you're going to constantly be validating your unworthiness by getting validation from things from out here, okay? You get that? So when you're not worth it, then you start doing self-sabotaging bullshit. And then you can just keep saying, I don't deserve it. There you go. There's proof I don't deserve it. There you go. There's more proof that I'm not worthy. Oh, look, my husband didn't tell me I was beautiful today. I guess I'm not worthy of his love. You know, think about that one. Where do you think that you're not worthy? In love, money, health? Start really thinking about that kind of stuff, because if you want to manifest or create abundance and prosperity and love and juiciness in your relationships, then you've got to start somewhere and stop looking out here, because you're not going to find the answers out here in the world. You're not. You're just not. Okay? So, another one is I'm not smart enough. That used to be one of mine. Boy, did that hold me back for a while. I was like, oh, I'm not smart enough. I don't know what kind of content to put out to people. They don't know. I mean, I'll just randomly show up, and that's what I've been doing, is randomly showing up and half-assing it, because I wasn't getting the kind of validation that I was expecting to get by putting myself out there, when I was only putting myself out there whenever I felt like it. So what do you think I was attracting back? Like attracts like. Well, there's more proof, there's more proof, there's more proof. I will keep proving to you, whether it's negative or positive. Is any of this making sense to you? If so, show me some love by pressing on the hearts, let me know that you're getting this. And if there's, something that you hear in what I'm saying that you want to hear more of, put the word in the comments or tell me what it is that you want to hear more of, okay? And then I can dive deeper into that topic as well. So again, how do you relate your worthiness to money? For example, I'm not worth it. Behavior of a lot of self-sabotage. I don't deserve it. I'm not smart enough to be successful. Excuse me, I don't have it in me to be resilient. I am afraid of disappointing others. I'm afraid of failing. First, you want to start with identifying some of your beliefs, okay? Excuse me. I get so excited and talking and need to keep hydrated here. So I'm afraid of disappointing others. That was another one for me. Like the fear thing can be real or imagined. One of the fears that I just recently discovered, you guys, upon other things that I discovered, but one of the big ones was I had a fear that by me being successful, I will leave my husband. Because now I'm independent and self-reliant and all this stuff. So it was holding me back from showing up fully for anybody. So what do you think was going on? I was having resentment towards my husband, being short with my daughter. I was holding resentments. Resentment can be present when you have limiting beliefs present or fear. And the fear that I discovered was I would leave Buck because in my past, I used to always think about how much I wanted to divorce my husband. And that's a whole nother story. However, there was limiting beliefs and about, am I lovable enough? Like I was constantly questioning my own self-worth because I needed his validation, and because he wasn't validating me, guess what? I'll just divorce your ass. Serious. And so, but once I got that and got that's, I made that up, you really got to get that you make this stuff up, unless you can prove to yourself that it's true. And I'm not talking like proof in conversations. You got to have facts, and your past thinking are not the facts. They're just old stories from your past. And I can just keep drilling this stuff into you guys, but I really just want you to make sure that you're getting it, because by your past, by constantly living out your past and those patterns and those self-sabotaging beliefs, and by continuously living there, that's the future that you continuously recreate for yourself. And you can't create nothing new until you deal with the past and get the past back where it belongs. And how do you do that? Well, by being aware of your limiting thought, those limiting beliefs, being aware of your patterns, being aware of the triggers, being aware of the sensations in your body, the thoughts, the emotions. First off, just drop emotions. A term or a little phrase that I learned in Landmark was feeling schmealings. Take that stuff out of the equation, and then guess who gets to show up? Your bold boss, bitch self, whatever you want to call yourself. Whatever is in alignment with what sings to your soul, and what's in alignment and sings to my soul and always has. And I created this for myself like almost 9 years ago. I created the possibility of being bold, powerful, and courageous. And I'm adding in unshakable confidence and unapologetically fully self-expressed. I love it. So, and as you peel away the onion, it just gets juicier, and life becomes so much more yummy and delicious. And when you're living from that place, and when you're not, and I know when I'm not living in that place, it's so freaking obvious to me. And it's just now paying attention to those triggers and practicing awareness and being present and being in alignment with my values. Anyways, I'm getting off topic. Well, I'm not off topic. I'm on topic. I'm just, I love this stuff. This is, I breathe it. I eat it. I sleep it. I just, and the reason why is because it's had such a huge impact on my life. I'm telling you guys, if you knew who I was before my transformation, you wouldn't have liked me at all, because I was a bitch. I was a complainer, a gossiper. Woe me, I was a victim. I mean, come on, you can't tell me you've been around somebody who's like all that kind of stuff, and then you're like, oh, I got to get away from her. Like, it just drags you down. I was dragging myself, my family, and the people around me down. So I don't choose that life anymore. Like, that's not who I am. Okay? All right, so first you want to start with identifying some of your limiting beliefs, like I gave in the examples that I shared a little bit ago. Now you want to identify the positive intention of the belief. And you do that by asking, excuse me, what am I trying to gain by holding on to this limiting belief? What am I trying to gain by holding on to this limiting belief? This belief that I'm not worthy, this belief that I'm not good enough, this belief that I'm not smart enough, this belief that I don't matter. I don't matter is another huge one, especially in our youth. And the reason why is because of all of technology and stuff. And it's, I just got goosebumps. Everybody wants to know that they matter. Everybody, every human being on this planet want to know that they matter. And can you imagine? I know what it's like to feel like I didn't matter, that my voice doesn't matter, that my opinion doesn't matter, that what I think about doesn't matter. I mean, just, it sucks to feel like you don't matter in the world. And I believe, for me, I really believe that is one of the beliefs, root cause to suicide in our youth. That they're not valued, that their opinion is not valued. And yeah, that's just a whole nother topic. Youth suicide and youth and being imprisoned and the youth foster care system are like the three big heart-wrenching topics for me. And those are the areas that I'm passionate about. So, and of course, I'm super passionate about making a difference in your mind and getting to the bottom of your crap. So, okay. So as I was saying, what am I trying to gain by holding on to this limiting belief? You know, you could share that in the comments if you want, or journal it. And when you, by the way, when you journal this, and if you want to take time with this, journaling, journal. I can't tell you how important journaling is to you having riches in your life, rich in your relationships, rich in money, rich in career, rich in whatever it is that you want to be rich and abundant in, okay? Journaling is awesome. It's awesome. I love it. Another question, what will achieving that, so what will achieving wealth do for me? So you just replace the wealth with whatever it is that you're asking. What will achieving that? And when you're doing this journaling, as I was getting ready to say, and I got off track again, when you're journaling, I invite you to start out with doing some sort of like breathing exercise, because you want to calm your mind. You want to calm ego's little input there that it likes to try to put in there, and just calm your mind. And you can do that through breathing exercises. And that's how you know, and when you begin to connect to what your intuitive self. There's other names for it, but for just what I'm talking about, just as I call it, freestyle writing. It's where you get connected to what's true for you. Okay. So journaling, but get your mind calm first and then ask this question. And then you just begin to write what comes, what's there, right? It's not, well, think through the thought or think through the question type of thing. No, you're not thinking through anything. You're just allowing it to rise. And you just start writing whatever's there. Just start writing it, okay? So, first question, what am I trying to gain by holding on to this limiting belief? Second question, what will achieving that, whatever it is, do for me? The next one, the next thing that you want to do is to start reframing or rephrasing your old limiting belief using these kinds of questions. And you can make up your own questions, but here's just some to get you started or to give you some ideas. Question number one, is my old limiting belief objectively true? Is it objectively true that I will leave my husband? No, it's not. It's not true for me. I'm not in alignment with that other crap. I'm not in alignment with that, because I am creating a juicy, romantic, fun, adventurous, exciting relationship with my husband. That's what I'm creating right now. In this moment, that's what I create. So even though he's clear over in Billings, Montana, we're creating juiciness. We create communication and being open and honest, and because we have old beliefs from our past relationships that came from our parents or from people that we've been around, or we become attached to other things, but we know, because we have been working on that stuff, that I'm not going to go cheat on him, he's not going to cheat on me, or is he flirting with somebody, or is there something wrong? I mean, like, it's so easy that you can make texts mean something. It's crazy how easy it is to add meaning to something in a text. So keeping that communication vibrantly open is really important to me. And unless I want to be my bitchy self, sometimes it feels good to be in that place. Isn't that weird? Isn't that weird? Anyways, so back to the questions. Okay, so after you ask those two big questions, what am I holding on to this limiting belief for? What will achieving that do for me? Then you start to reframe and rephrase your old limiting belief using these questions. These are just ideas, by the way. Is my old limiting belief objectively true? Is this belief always true for me? Is this belief always true for everyone? Would I teach it to my children? What kind of behaviors will I have if I continue to hold on to this belief? What would my mentor or my coach tell me about this limiting belief? You want to identify your new empowering belief after you've uncovered some of those questions there, which is usually the opposite of the old belief. And then visualize yourself in the future that you, because really this is who you are. But until you believe in that at your core, your soul level, you've got to deal with the patterns. You've got to deal with those limiting beliefs, and you are reprogramming the neurons in your brain that work subconsciously. Okay, so you have the conscious and then the subconscious. So one thing that you will do once you've identified the new empowering belief, so like, what would you say to yourself as a worthy person, as a worthy woman, as a worthy human being, as someone? What is possible for you as someone who is a human being that is worthy and deserving and good enough and smart enough? Like, what would that be like for you? And play with that. What would that be like? Again, who do you choose your identity to be? Because it can't be the one that you're currently enjoying. You know, if you're always down, or I was trying to think of some silly old phrase that people use, but if you're feeling down all the time, or things aren't going your way, if you're having turmoil in your relationships, or you have poor health, you can't tell me that you're not being hard on yourself about that crap, because then you're lying to yourself. You're trying to cover it up and pretend it's not happening. And we do enough pretending in this world. I know I was doing a lot of pretending. Anyways, so when you start changing the view of yourself, you will begin to experience a higher vibration, and experience a vibration in results around creating wealth, happipiness, juicy relationship. As you can tell, juicy is one of my favorite words for relationships. It's because I have one. A very juicy relationship, and not afraid to say that. Anyways, I don't even know. It says I have someone on here, but I'm not seeing any love or any questions. Maybe I should ask you, do you have any questions at this point? I'm almost finished here. So anyways, if you have a question, please put it in the comments. If this is making sense to you, show me some love. If it's not making sense to you, put it in the comments. Not making sense. I'm not getting this. And maybe we could have a one-on-one conversation about that. And I could walk you through the steps in maybe one of your own personal scenarios. What would that be like? That would be freaking awesome. I would love to do that with you. Anyways, so when you start changing the view of yourself, then you will begin to experience that higher vibration that you want, so that you can create wealth and manifest wealth in your life. And here are some ideas of questions. See, I'm like helping you here. Questions to ask yourself. And please, you are welcome to share this in the comments. Because this is really important that you share and enroll others in your own discoveries, because it just, and once again, empowers, it lifts you up, it inspires you, it activates your endorphins. If anything comes up, please journal it, and you're welcome to share it later, especially for those of you who watch this later. I know you're busy on this Saturday. I'll be busy cleaning here soon. I'm working with some feng shui stuff. Anyway, so what am I doing differently? So you see yourself in the future as this person who is deserving, who's worthy, who's smart enough, who's good enough. This person in the future, what are you doing differently? What new behaviors do you have? Is there any evidence from your past that supports this new empowering belief? And you want to state your new empowering belief out loud a few times a day, visualizing. You know, these are really important because they are impactful and they work. So, who would you be as someone who is worthy and deserving? And you want to believe that to the core. And you want to do that by providing it to yourself, doing those things that are in alignment with this new belief. You know, I mean, just a little tip or a little example would be like taking a hot bubbly bath when you hear that you need it, not putting it off. Then you start to be more in alignment with that new belief. And when you're not in alignment with it, it's obvious, right? Because now you know what it feels. You already know you already know what it feels like to you when you're not in alignment with being extraordinary or being someone who's worthy. Like you already know, that one really well. You know that all too well. You've been living it most of your life. So if you're someone who has a story or a limiting belief that you're not worthy, then you're going to know when you're not, okay? What would be some of those actions that are in alignment with you being worthy, deserving, successful, in alignment with your creating wealth? What behaviors must be in alignment with your belief consciously to change your subconscious? Because you've got to be able to change the subconscious, you've got to be able to change the conscious. So one of the factors of manifesting or creating wealth is your environment in alignment with this new way of being. So I started to identify what's not in alignment with being bold, powerful, and courageous. Well, that's why I love feng shui. And I definitely was not practicing that in our home. I haven't been practicing it ever since, gosh, for a long time. Anyway, so now, I mean, I'm not saying that like my house is filthy or anything, not that kind of stuff, because then I would so be out of integrity. But I'm talking about the energy. Do I feel good when I walk in the bathroom? Hell no. Was I feeling good in the living room? You know, does it feel good? Do I feel inspired? Does it bring me joy and happiness and peace when I'm in the bathroom or in my bedroom or in the clothes that I'm wearing? You know, I was inspired to color my hair again, and I noticed resistance immediately because that's change, and change is uncomfortable. Well, I love it. So you get what I'm saying here? Excuse me. You are worthy. And just by the sheer fact that you exist. I believe that. And if you don't believe that, that's okay. Let me believe that for you until you do. Let your community, the women in this group, believe that for you until you do. Okay? Surround yourself by people who are going to uplift you, empower you, inspire you. And when they're not in alignment with that, get the hell away from them. I mean, I'm not saying that in some of your relationships you're going to have some stuff that comes up. Well, great. Work through it and move on. Yeah, I mean, I can do a video on how to deal with people that are immediate, especially in your life, especially in your life that, you know, that you're around because they're family or they're family friends. You know, I mean, you go to places like your job and you kind of got to be around them because of the job. Like, I can tell you how to, you know, get the heck away from them in a nice way, or you just drop them from your life. And if you're having a hard time with dropping someone from your life, it's because you have a lot of meaning. You're undecisive, you're uncertain, you have beliefs around making decisions or around whatever. Like that's the work I do. I help people work through that muck so that you can free your mind up to be confident in your decisions. Be confident that the outcome's going to be whatever the outcome's going to be. And if you're living in one of those who live in uncertainty, it's not a pleasant place to be. I lived there, and it's a sucky place because I'm a visionary. One of the things that I used to do was I would just stay in the dream and the wishful thinking, and then if I didn't get the kind of results that I wanted or expected, then I was wallowing in self-pity and disappointed in blah, 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 blah. You know, well, do you want to stay there or do you want to do something about it? You know, and thank God, like, just thank God that little voice in my heart just said to me, there's got to be something more than this. And I found it. So I want to remind you that our Envision Your Dream Masterclass is next week. So be there or be square. October 4th. If you haven't signed up yet, get signed up. And the link is somewhere in the group. I'm sure you'll find it. Just navigate yourself around a little bit. It's in there. Anyway, so after we complete the master class, which I will give you the details of the upcoming virtual vision board. And so I really, really encourage you to participate in the master class because it's going to piggyback on with the vision board. So they go hand in hand nicely. And then after the master class, we're going to dig a lot deeper into being in alignment with you, really getting in alignment with what it is that you envision for yourself. So, I mean, think about it. Now that you've envisioned this life, we start working through the beliefs and the patterns. Now it's about aligning yourself. You're at a soul level, aligning with that vibration and maintaining that and moving forward, and whatever outcome happens. You just keep going. All right, so we will have a challenge that will empower you and inspire you in fulfilling on what matters most to you in your life. That's my commitment to you. All right, I love you guys. I know this was a long one. However, I know that you'll take away some really awesome stuff. That was the purpose, so that you can peel away at that onion and begin manifesting the life that you desire. And here's one last thing I want to say. If you know what I'm talking about and you know, like, this is resonating with you and it makes sense for you, but you're just finding yourself, you're struggling with getting, stuck or unstuck, I should say. If you're struggling with getting unstuck, private message me and step outside of your comfort zone and let's talk. Let's have a chat about it. Okay? So, I love you. Have a beautiful, beautiful day, a beautiful weekend, even though it's cold as heck outside. I'm going to be inside. Namaste.